Grand Rising, you beautiful, beautiful soul. So this morning, I want to give a huge shout out to my queens out here. See, it's certain things that we are birthed with, and it's other things that we have to learn, shape, and develop. This is why we need to trust our process and not be so hard on ourselves. See that things are structured currently. A lot of queens are not looking to kings for that leadership, for that guidance, for that support. Because it seems like a lot of people have adapted to society's role reversal. Now, when we look at the reversal of roles and what they was originally structured upon, we then can focus on the structure that it was built upon. Was that traditional values? Were they built on modern values? Were they built on the destruction of homes? Were they built upon a poverty mindset? Or were they built upon the acknowledgement of the wealth that is inside of our souls? See, when we incarnate on this earthly plane, a lot of these gifts that is in us, they become dormant, not just because of the environment that we live in, but merely from the space that we have learned over the course of our life to adapt to. See, as humans, we have the ability to adapt to most situations. And even when you don't like a situation, in most instances, you have the ability to be molded. You know, in some instances, they can say it's grooming. That's really the space that we have succumbed to, is the grooming and the shaping of our women. See, you can be groomed to operate in your queen energy from birth, or you can be taught to operate and to conduct yourself without having no respect for yourself. See, it's pretty difficult to move into a space of comfort where you're able to walk in your own energy, where you're able to claim your power, where you're able to be comfortable in the skin that you are in, merely because we are surrounded by the social norms of what beauty is. We are surrounded by the social norms of what power is. We are surrounded by many external forces that ultimately force us to operate within the space that those structural dynamics of the beliefs that these norms were constructed upon. See, when we fail to acknowledge our authenticity, when we fail to acknowledge the beauty of who we are, the difference of who we are, we then can understand that we was all created and shaped differently. So to be able to operate within the space of everyone else, that means that you ain't doing nothing different. See, a wise man once said that no one great ever did the same thing that everyone else is doing. But when you choose to step outside of that comfort zone, which is being accepted, you know, we all want to be accepted into some type of space, whether that's from our significant other, whether that's from our family, whether that is on our workforce. See, the areas that we work in, you're actually, for many people, you're at work more than you're at home, because even when you're at home, you're thinking about work. We have to see, and being able to develop your vision and see things clearly, that's going to take time. It's going to take some development, because you're going to have to get bruised a little bit. Your feelings are going to get hurt. You may get blackballed. You may get blacklisted. You may even be placed on the dark web, because see, when you're on the dark web, that means that you're able to obtain counterfeit items. You're able to get these counterfeit items for cheap prices, because that's what we do. We sell ourselves for the cheap. We sell ourselves for low wages. We sell ourselves to be accepted. But when we understand that the price, there is no price tag on authenticity. There There is no price tag on power. There is no price tag on wealth, because these are gifts that are birthed in us and that are activated by God. And as we go through these levels and, we move through these different areas and these spaces in time, we then begin to activate additional gifts. We then begin to step and walk into our glory. So when I said I'm going to start this video and give a shout out to my queens, I want to shout out the queens because we don't get enough praise. See, oftentimes they say the man is strong and you have to take it like a man. Man up and stand up. Men stand up, women sit down. But in all actuality, the woman is the queen. If you look at the game of chess, the queen has the ability to move through the entire board, which means sometimes the queen must stand and sometimes she must sit down. See, when she sits down, that parable can be compared to the humility. That parable can be compared to the woman that moves with grace, to the woman whose energy is so powerful that she doesn't need a loudspeaker or a bullhorn to be able to say, look at me, do you see me? See, she doesn't seek attention because the attention is already on her. See, when you are a queen, you the whole board. When you are a queen, you are the whole board, which means that you have the ability to wear multiple hats. And sometimes you have to change roles. Sometimes you are required to lead. Sometimes you are required to follow. Sometimes you are required to teach. Sometimes you are required to learn. Because even as a teacher, humility will teach you that we are always learning, that there is always space for growth. There is always space for evolvement. See, when you stop evolving and when you stop growing, that's when, you lost your space of humility. See, as a queen, that humility that is in you, it allows you to remain in a teachable space, because you know that just as we change and sometimes we may get wrinkles and, we get stretch marks and our body takes shapes that we don't like, that's the growth of the mind. When our mind begins to shape and development, it brings pain. It's that birthing season. It's when the baby is in the birth canal and, you're feeling pain. There's this pain that you can't quite explain. And even though science has made it to a point where they're able to numb the pain, there's still pain there, because with the numbing effect of that pain, all it does is it allows that pain to be masked. It hides the pain. But when God created us, he knew that we were going to have pain. He knew that we was going to have many different sectors of birth. And when you're birthing things into existence, oftentimes it requires a space of pain. And even if you look at the parable of childbirth, pain, the woman must experience pain during childbirth. Many people go through them different levels of pain during the birthing cycle. And that can be the birthing of your new business, where you're aiming to hold on and know that things are going to improve. But the pain of it, the sleepless nights, the time away from your family and your loved ones, the amount of time that you have to pour into that establishment, the birthing process of birthing a child, and the pain that you have to go through raising that child. See, when you begin to accept the pain that comes along with the birthing of an idea, that comes along with the birthing of an organization, that comes along with the birthing of an establishment, you will then begin to relish in the beauty and in the gift of it. Because it's really a gift, y'all. Life is a gift. We are birthed each day because we have the ability that reset button, we accept our flaws. We accept our areas of stagnation. We identify the areas that we need to improve. Because improving, that means that we're able to grow. We're able to move into different spaces. We're able to accept and remain humble and grateful for the mercy of God. Because God has mercy for us. God has grace. God loves us. God adores us. Because he knows that this walk was not designed to be easy. And see, as a queen, to whom much is given, much is required. Right? So that means that you have to go through the process to shape and develop that energy. Because then, you'll just move gracefully. It comes natural. But on that note, I just stopped by with a quick reminder to be gentle with yourself, to love on yourself a little bit more, to appreciate your birthing pains, to appreciate the wrinkles that you may see on your body, to appreciate the hardships that you may have had to endure.